Sharon. Hey, congratulations on this animated movie, Glisten and the Merry Mission.
Yeah, we're very excited. Glisten's an important character in the Build-A-Bear cadre of beloved furry friends, and we're excited to bring her to life on the big screen. So,
Wow. Well, Sharon, tell us what sparked you to write the story for Glisten.
well, I think one of the things that's interesting about this, that it in some ways it flips the model on its head from an entertainment and toy perspective. These products started as a construct of how to bring people into Build-A-Bear during one of our most important seasons, the holiday season, and make it a family tradition to come to Build-A-Bear prior to the holidays instead of, it's not that it's a bad thing, but in addition to perhaps someone finding a teddy bear under the tree. So we wanted that to be something that families could do together every year. So we created a backstory and characters and character arcs to launch this program quite a few years ago. That was about the nice list being too long. We didn't want an antagonist. We wanted it to just, the kids are good kids. And that the reindeer got together to help solve this, challenge for Santa, and that involved another workshop, which would be Build-A-Bear workshop. So that was the impetus of it, and then we created these characters around that, and it's been very successful. And when we introduced Glisten the following year, she's been our #1 selling item during the holiday time period, and each year we would put a little bit of a spin on the story. And so this emerged from a business case perspective, but it was the story and the characters that kept people coming back, and it felt like a very natural extension versus what would be sometimes the more traditional approach to toys and animation, where the animation comes first and the toys come second. But the story, but in both cases, the story is what held it together, and what we think has created that affinity and engagement, which is what Build-A-Bear is famous for.
So when you were writing the story, was it difficult to flesh out the characters, trying to give them, color and personality? Because when we're talking about characters that are I don't want to say lifeless, dolls and so on, but you're creating a whole new world for this.
Yeah, and that was the original vision when I wrote the treatment some years ago. At this point, I really wanted to do my best to try to make it timeless, and even in the communications with Temple, who also co-wrote the screenplay. But from the treatment perspective, I wanted stories that people could relate to. There's multiple layers of storytelling in the film, between the relationship of Marzipan and Cinnameg, the mom and daughter, and she, sort of surprisingly in a difficult situation becomes the new chief workshop manager, which is, by the way, an Easter egg for our teams. That's what we call the people who manage our stores, chief workshop managers. So there was, kind of that dynamic, the fact that it is the child that has to have that undenying, belief, and the adults, are doubt themselves constantly. There's also some push and pull between the new and the old, the reindeer introducing technology, and the elves wanting to hold on to the old way. So there's a lot of thematic, I think, elements that gave us a mechanism to create these likable characters, because we're putting them in, and I use hand quotes or finger quotes generously here, real life situations, but in a way, even though they're in the North Pole, and it's, about elves and reindeer, all of us can kind of relate to, a single mom trying to raise a kid, and some of the situations around that. this person like Sage Evergreen that's always kind of like magically comes into your life the minute you need some words of wisdom. Someone like a Grizz that's a little bit, grumpy but you find a way and you figure out that he's just another person with a whole lot of stuff going on. And there's always room for, a teddy bear hug. So, lot of big, actually tackling a lot of pretty big themes in a really friendly way.
Hey, don't forget that this film has plenty of humor. I mean, I was laughing at certain parts and jabs that you input into this film. It's funny.
So what was your favorite part?
It's like like the part the owl suddenly talked, or the snowman trying to tell the weather. I mean, some of these it's funny, yeah.
Thank you. So, and a lot of these stars, the people that agreed to do this, when you think about it, we're still a growing and entertainment arm. We've had, some content, but to do something this bold and this big at this time of year, to think that we would be able to get a Chevy Chase or a Dionne Warwick or a Julia Michaels or a Trinity or Billy Ray Cyrus, they fell in love with the story. Now, of course, they love Build-A-Bear, but they really loved this story. And I mention those because, Reginald VelJohnson was the owl. And that was a kind of once Chevy agreed, we're like, wouldn't it be cool if we had people that were in the film that have had at least one famed, like credit in a Christmas film. And then we literally got into that argument about whether Die Hard's a Christmas film, because Reginald is in Die Hard, and that's why we wanted to reach out to him.
That is great. That is great. The one thing that I found it I was, when I was watching, it was like I was expecting the shoe to drop when you were going to introduce your signature bears in the film. Was it a important decision to whether to even present the bears, your bear dolls at all? Because you could have easily left that out, but you guys actually, I'm glad you put it in.
Well, there are two reasons for that. One, consumers and guests and viewers sometimes want to know why it's from Build-A-Bear. They feel like they want to have that connection. But that was the secondary, tertiary, that was way down the hierarchy of decision making. The real decision making was the storyline. The storyline was quite literally that nice list machine was glitchy. And there were a lot more kids that needed teddy bears. And so it created an impetus for one, kind of having the elves learn to step into some modernization. It's not always, the right answer to not try to modernize, but also that there really is, which is one of the reasons why we exist. There really is this one product, this one teddy bear hug. This teddy bears are ubiquitous. And it's hard to find someone that doesn't appreciate a good teddy bear. And so this idea that they could both meld both of those things together of, well, we're going to have to be consistent. We're going to have to pick one thing to get this done, this, sort of modernization thought process. At the same time, the solution, which was not a push, happened to be the teddy bears. But, we didn't want that to be the end. We needed to go through one more kind of challenge for the team of that, once you really decide to provide, make Christmas morning happy for every kid, that makes the sleigh a little heavy at that point.
Absolutely.
And we had a lot of fun creating this sleighway, situation where it was weighed on the number of reindeer. and and they think they're fine, but they need a little magic to bring the holidays home.
That is true. And Sharon, tell us about the decision of going with a 2D animation. I know the industry, they're trying to, computerize everything and 3D animation and everything. And I have to admit, you stuck it to the traditional animation of before. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was also a long conversation. One of the things, though, that was a driver is it's a little shorter in time frame to get that done. And we wanted to have this out by the holiday. Any type of holiday film, it's not like you can just let it roll. And then when we drop it in June, it'll be fine. You're on a real deadline, a real holiday deadline. So, and when we got it greenlit and got it moving, that was one of the things that was a driver, but that wasn't the biggest reason. We wanted to create something that, in the midst of Build-A-Bear turning 25, that felt like it could be something that you could have seen a few years ago, but you can see it now. And in some ways it feels fresh again. It does have depth to it. It's not a complete flat animation. The background has some richness to it. We believe that it looks beautiful, and that a lot of that sort of like misty depth, particularly when you shift over into like the storm and some of the more dramatic moments and the snow, that it looks absolutely gorgeous. And we're just thrilled with the outcome of it. And I think that kids and adults are going to like it. I think it's going to feel really familiar, in the best of ways.
Absolutely. That is terrific. And for Build-A-Bear Entertainment, are we heading to more animated films, or are you guys going to like start branching out like a lot of like how toy companies are branching out into more movies and TV stuff?
Well, we've been on this road for quite some time of the creation of a content strategy that makes sense for Build-A-Bear. Build-A-Bear is a high-touch engagement company that creates long-term relationships with guests. And even though we haven't had that long of history of creating storylines, independent storylines and character arcs, our guests do. We've had over 250 million Build-A-Bears, and in the vast majority of those cases, I feel confident that our guests have named those their furry friends, and that they play a role in their life, and they have a personality in their own worlds. And so for us to be able to do that is a very natural extension. It also serves in this day and age as an important touch point. From a communications perspective and even a marketing perspective. The entire go-to-market approach with children has changed in the past decade significantly, from the creation of what would have been just an advertisement years ago, and marketing directly through television. That kind of turnkey approach is not as valid as it used to be. So. And this is, again, it's natural for us because all of those stories and those relationships, this just makes sense for Build-A-Bear to be in that business. And when you think about what could be coming, we've shared that we have a feature film in the pipeline with Reese Witherspoon's company, Hello Sunshine, based on Goldilocks and a reimagination of that. We have some other feature pipelining. We've done Hallmark films, and the things that I would be looking for are probably episodic and short form types of things as well. And we're excited about it because we've gotten such a nice response, and it's an important part of our future.
Absolutely. And one last thing I want to remark for people who are watching or listening, I can't wait to get a hold of your of Glisten and all the friends dolls at the Build-A-Bear.
Oh, I have one here for you.
Oh, there you go. See, it looks
like magic.
Looks wonderful, and that is available now.
It is. You can go in stores or online, and you can make your very own Glisten and put her heart in it. But you got to believe.
Well, there you go. You said it best. Sharon, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us. It's a very fun movie. The kids gonna love it. They're gonna love the dolls too when they go into the store. So it is a magical Christmas movie. Thank you very much.
I hope so. I hope that people are able to even maybe take Glisten or their Bear Leaf Bear into the theater. I think that would be really fun. And we're just is that fun? And we're so delighted to have Cinemark as a partner on this as well. So it's an exciting week for us.
Most excellent. And hopefully we get to do this again. So Merry Christmas to you, Sharon.
Thank you. Happy holidays.